Hello, hello everyone. Um, just coming in to do a quick live, but my camera just fell over right when I was getting ready to come in here. So, welcome. I'll give a minute to see who we have, if we have anyone. I know I'm on before the Oilers play, so we still got time. All right. So for Hello, Felicia. I was just trying to make sure. I was just looking over. I'm just making sure I'm on the right pages, but I think I am. All of my pages were mixed up. So I was just making sure that I'm on the right ones, but I am. So, hello. And always remember I am broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Hello, Ellie. So nice to see you ladies in here. I want to come in and talk a little bit about energy. And if you've not seen my energy update that's on YouTube, there is a new energy update for the full moon that speaks a lot about this energy and feeling our feelings. Thank you, Felicia. Um, and about all of the, really truly feeling our feelings right now. So we have a lot of that energy that's going on and happening around us. So I am going to kind of jump in quickly because I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm going to step right in here and I'm going to open up with a card for the energy and speak a little bit about we're just relaxing from Niagara Falls trip. My son's birthday is Sunday. Oh, wow. 10 already. Holy crap. That's so crazy. Where'd that time go? And Niagara Falls. I love Niagara Falls. I love visiting Ontario. There's so many things to see in Ontario. It's always so beautiful. I love all the little old towns. I love Niagara on the Lake. Niagara on the Lake is probably one of my most favorite places, I have to say. So I'm just going to open up with the energy. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of time today, but I'm trying to readjust my camera. My camera fell over and now I can't get it. It was like right before I came back on live, and now it's like not even in its right space or spot or anything. I'm like, I think it's okay. It'll do. It'll do. It was a bittersweet trip. Last time was 2 years ago, and it's on. Oh, well, I bet he was with you again today. This trip. I bet you he was there. Guaranteed he was there with you. All right, so let's kind of feel out some of this energy. Come home. It's beautiful here too. We're trying, Paula. We are. We have been looking at possibly coming home. I lost an earbud. Wonder where my. That's weird. Hold on. Somewhere between my hair and here, I lost an earbud in my pocket. We're actually trying to come home sometime soon. It won't be a long trip, but we are trying to make it to Newfoundland. Trying to bring my husband to Newfoundland. so so people can actually see that I do actually have one. He does exist. He is real. All right. Hello, Leanne and Tammy and Missy. Hello. So I'm going, like I said, I'm just going to open up this energy, and then I'm going to open up this live, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about this full moon energy. Last night was the actual full moon and the beautiful pink full moon, but I'm telling you, we have Mercury going direct, I think we have Pluto going into retrograde. We have all these things that are happening. There is if you've been feeling like irritated, like you kind of like want to scream and shout and yell, and you just can't sit still and you're restless, then you're in this energy because this energy is real and it is really playing with us. And it also, it also really messes with us sometimes because we could be getting like everyone around us is annoying us and getting on our nerves, and it's like everything is bugging us, and we think it's the people, but it's what's inside of us. It's what it's bringing up inside of us. And so there is, right? Yes, there is fuckery. Yes, there is. There is so much that's going on a world scale everywhere. There's just so much. And I'm like, it's almost like we need a massive like parenting thought that just says it's time to grow up. Yes. Exactly, Felicia. Yeah, that's exactly it. Is that you too, Vera? It is. It's like it is so, and you're feeling it. I was sitting downstairs today. Oh God, I dropped cards. Hold on, I got to get all the way to my chair to get all the way on the floor. Oh, see, shit show. It's a shit show. I can't bend over. I have a spinal fusion surgery that was done 3 months ago, so I just can't bend over and pick something up. So if something falls to the floor, chances are most times it's freaking staying down there. um, and so yeah, just feeling it, right? And so you're just feeling it. So let's start with a card to kind of help us kind of navigate through this energy. And it's not going away right away. Don't worry. Like, don't worry. It's not going away right away. So I was downstairs and I couldn't sit still. Like I was all over the place and I'm like, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to do this. And then my husband was kind of like getting on my nerves and he didn't mean to. And he really wasn't. He was doing absolutely nothing to bug me. And I'm just like, I think I need to get things done. Things need to get done now. There was really nothing to get done, nothing that couldn't wait. But it was just like that. And I'm like, go outside. So I went for a walk. So you got to move the energy. Don't let it sit stagnant. You've got to move the energy. So we have Shelta the Observer. And so Shelta the Observer says, we're here to observe this energy. We're here to observe what is happening and not to step personally into it, to be curious. Oh, I'm curious. Why am I feeling this way? I'm curious. Why is this coming back up for me? Why am I feeling this again? Why is this, why do I feel this way again? And so we may have residue energy that is still in there that needs to be cleaned and cleared up. Vera, I'm actually feeling really, really good. I'm doing so well. It's just a whole new way of living. It really is. And hello, Betty, Miss Betty Thorne. I'm a little bit envious that you guys are sitting in the sunshine. And well, it's nice here too, but it's not the same as being on a beach. And so, yeah, so it's just all new. So, but observer, this is our first card out. It's about the observer. It's about observing the universe, observing what's happening inside of us. Remember, what's happening in the universe is also happening within us. What's out in the universe is in us. We are energy. We are connected to the energy. We feel the energy. A planet moves and shifts. It influences and affects us, especially if you have that planet that is tied into your natal chart. If you have the intensity of the degrees from 0 to 29 degrees, that's the intensity. So if you say if you're an Aries and you're a 0 degrees, you're probably a milder Aries. If you're a 29 degrees, you probably got a lot more of that there's that fiery, passionate kind of energy that's happening. It's in that sense of those levels, right? It's what affects us on a level that we have each and every planet that influence us and within our houses. So we have the 12 houses. And so which planets are in those 12 houses and where it sits. It's an intricate little system, but that intricate little system is you. You are not just made up of one thing, this or that. Like, you are not just your, if you look up your horoscopes, you're not just, say you're an Aries, you're not just Aries energy. It's not only when your Aries month comes, it is the planets, it is the elements, it is how many of those elements you have. Um, and so there is so many things that influence your Saturn, your North Node, your South Node, and there is a real psychology that is based around your natal chart. And so all of that plays out in our lives. Now, I'm not an astrologer. I just do a lot of astrology, deep studying and working into it, because I read energy, because I see energy. So as an observer of the energy, is I'm always seeing energy as color. So if I see, you know, things moving around, I see it as color, and then it brings in conversation to me. Like, I hear the conversation and it comes together as words. We walk around like that. So when we think we're hiding something, so if you think you're hiding something, or if you think you're like, oh, no one's going to know that I got this going on and that going on, we do reveal it. You reveal it in ways that you don't even know, because they become habits, they become facial expressions, your aura, those type of things reveal it. Your hyperactivity or lack of interest, all of that, everything matters and everything influences us. So we're not as able to kind of hide what we're feeling as what we think we are. It just doesn't come out in the true way that we need to, and it doesn't come out in the places where it needs to come out. So learning to be able to communicate, learning to observe how you are, to how you behave, how you react, how you respond to things. When you start to know more about yourself, you also start to recognize how you energetically exist in this world. And then you start to be able to say, well, is that really me? So when you step into the observer energy, is that you start to observe everything about yourself. Is that my truth? Is that what I truly believe? Is that what I truly feel? Is that who I'm really truly mad at? Am I really truly angry at that person? Or am I angry at something else? Am I angry at myself? Am I angry because I keep repeating a pattern, but I keep reflecting it onto somebody else? So if you keep saying, I'm so pissed at this person, and if this person would only change, if this person made this change, and if that person made that change, if everyone around me changed, I'd be happier. No, you would not. That's a bullshit story. You would not be happier. And that's the energy we're in right now. And so you would not be happier. If everyone only seen me, or if everyone only listened to me, you still would not be happy. Why would you not be happy? Because if they changed, their lives would change, but you would still be in the same energy. You would still tell yourself the same stories. You would still have the same thing happening. So you would have temporary satisfaction, temporary happiness, but you wouldn't really fully be happy, because it's the inside job, and we have to do that work up on ourselves. We have to do that healing, the energetic healing, the spiritual, the mind, body, soul energy healing, the spiritual healing, the work that needs to be done, so that we can really truly be willing to ask ourselves the hard questions. So what this moon has been giving to us is the hard questions, but not in words you're hearing, but in energy you're feeling. So it's been giving you the hard questions, but not so much in words, but in energy. It is shining a light, bringing energetic connection into those areas of where that sense of honesty needs to be. And how that appears is in how we feel. So we have all of these feelings. So we're feeling everything. We got all of this connections that we're just making, and we want to project it out. It has to be something or someone else, but it's not. It's something within ourselves. And sometimes it's other people, don't get me wrong, but there's things that, to truly observe and to make changes, if the whole world became a better place, would we really be a better place if we still carried every bit of suppressed energy, every bit of the old stories, and all of the old trauma within us, all the things that you still would say, I'm this way, I behave this way, or I have this happening because so and so said this to me 30 years ago. So and so did this to me 10 years ago. right? That's attaching somebody that gives us the right of passage to still carry out the habit, the behavioral pattern that we have created from those experiences. This energy and all that's been happening for a few months now has all been about accountability, responsibility. It's our responsibility. So in my YouTube message that's up for the full moon, I speak about those opinions of self. We have these opinions of self that we tell ourselves, and then we have the expectations that they either flood over to everyone, that we become that sense of the victim to that story, and we want everyone else to respond to it, react to it, believe it to be true. But is it really true? Is it really my truth? So this is Shelta, this is the observer, and this is what she's telling us. And so we're being called up and out. So we have a 10, which is like a double whammy transformation. Hello, everyone who's joining. Hello, Matthew. And so we really have a double whammy. And so this is where we are being kind of double whammied into transformation. It is a full kind of opportunity. So if you take it as opportunity, it gives us the opportunity to really call ourselves up and out on where we need to really truly do the work ourselves. It's not easy, but we have it. It's existing around us. So that's what we have happening. Um, what else do we have? Let me think about this for a moment. I'm trying to think back to the video. I don't remember. So I'm a channel for those who've not seen my work. And if you only come in here to my lives, and I do energy updates. And those energy updates do help you understand how the energy is influencing us. It's influencing our feelings, it's our senses, it's influencing our behaviors, our patterns, it's influencing weather patterns. It influences everything. I feel an earthquake coming. I feel a massive storm coming. All of those things. It's all in. I see it coming. I see it more than I feel it, actually. I see it coming in. I see these things coming. But when I record these messages, and as a channel, is that I step in and I communicate with that greater consciousness and connect into it and bring those messages back and kind of try to make them make sense. Try to make them make sense, because on a divine level, those messages sound so much better. trying to translate them back over to here is not always so easy. But we always have a higher self that's connecting to us. And so we always have a voice that is communicating to us. And in some of these messages that I've been posting lately, I've been really speaking about that little voice, that little whisper, the chatter of the mind's ability to create chaos, to create stories, to create a lot of turmoil within ourselves. That's very loud, just like the world can be very loud. The most brilliant of people is probably the most quietest of people. But there's a lot of loud, there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of noise, and we have that noise within ourselves. But when we can let ourselves go quiet, there's a little tiny voice. And that little voice does become a bit of a small roar. And it usually reveals itself in sometimes a ping, sometimes a feeling, sometimes it's like that punch. If you're not listening, it's almost like a punch in the gut. Sometimes it feels a little bit like an anxious feeling. And then that little voice is there for you to hear. It's just saying, stop, enough, slow down, listen to yourself. Are you ever listening to yourself, or are you just always talking? Are you always in like these conversations? Are you always in trying to be validated? Are you always in your doubt story? Are you always in your fear story? It's like, where are you? And how much conversation is just like taking up so much space and time and energy that really truly is not productive, or it's not helping you in any way. It's always just keeping you connected to the past, keeping you tied into old energy. And old energy is like outdated equipment. It's just like an equipment. It's just It's non-existent, right? It's like having a computer that's 30 years old and you're still trying to use it because you bought it 30 years ago and you paid a lot of money for it. And you're trying to tell yourself that it's still great because you paid a lot of money, and because you paid a lot of money, it should still be really good. And but it can never be updated. It's obsolete. Well, all of this past stuff, all this chatter, all this doubt is filled with obsolete programming. It's not serving you, it has no purpose, and it's not serving your now to be able to get into the future, to be able to get moving forward. And so all of this is really truly all the energy that we have happening right now, what we're existing in. So there's a whole bunch of stuff happening that is to be felt. It's we're probably feeling it, and so some things is easier to explain once you understand, well, is this really me? Is this really me? Or is this something, am I just feeling the collective energy? Am I just feeling the world's energy? Did I just get myself in a downward spiral in TikTok? And listen to, every doomsday video that I could listen to? Did I just listen to something that made me change my mind on what I knew was right for myself, but yet I just got like just went down the rabbit hole? It's so easy to get down the rabbit hole. It's not so easy to get out of the rabbit hole. The other thing we have happening right now is we have a lot of, like, it feels like you may feel like you're sitting for 5 minutes, and when you look up, it's like time just escapes you. But when you look up, you've been sitting for an hour. It's like, where did I go? It's almost like we're separating from ourselves. We're getting kind of disconnected from ourselves, and it's being like kind of pulled away. That energy is real. We're feeling that. I went to the store last Thursday, picked up groceries. I came home and I literally laid the groceries all out on the countertop. In my head, I could have swore I put the groceries away, but I wasn't feeling well. I was really tired. I still don't have a lot of energy. So it's like, I'm tired. I need to sit down for a few minutes. I sat in my rocking chair and I did. I just start looking at some YouTube videos that I wanted to catch up on. And I was just like, oh, I'll just listen for 5 minutes. But in my head, I thought I even had put the groceries away. When I looked up, it was an hour later, and every bit of my groceries was on the counter. I went into almost like a little, I'm like, where was I? Where did I go? It is hypnotic, and it takes us away. And so really truly staying present with yourself, staying with yourself, doing a lot of like walking, breathing exercises, meditation, getting outside, being an active participant in your own physical life is very important now, more than ever, to really truly bring us back into that connection with ourselves. And that's happening. We can feel that. But to be so present with ourselves, because that's where we make the wisest decisions for our future. And so you may be feeling the exhaustion, you may be feeling the tiredness, you may be feeling the weight. It feels heavy, it feels dense. It's like we're pushing ourselves through this energy. And because we have been in retrograde, it does feel like it's like pulling us. It feels like there's that's like pulling us back. It feels like we've got to push harder. But it's not about pushing harder, it's about getting in the flow. So the second card is Forever Yearning. And this is Luna. And of course, she's under the full moon energy. And so she is a crone energy. So the observer is maiden. It's that beginning stages of becoming an observer and becoming curious. Curious about your thoughts, curious about your action, curious why you're thinking that, curious why you believe that. Where did I learn that from? How long ago was that? Is it time that maybe I update some of my beliefs, some of my connections, and so the yearning is, what am I yearning for the most? What is it that I really truly need? So, what is it I'm really hungry for? What is it that I'm really truly desiring? And ask yourself, which version of myself am I asking this? Which version of myself am I asking this question? Is this my shadow? Is this my fear? Is this my ugly side? Or is this my truth? Who am I asking this? Because as long as we create the life that we feel like we have been denied, or that was taken away from us, we're not really speaking and working from our truth. Our true self is knowing that the person that's right here, right now, is everything that we could have ever needed. It's every parent we could have ever wanted. It has the possibility to be the best parent in the world, to be the best guru, to be the best everything for you is happening right here. Right here in this person that you are. You have the opportunity to be all the things that you desired, to really truly ask that self, what is it that I truly need? What is it that I truly want? What is it that brings me happiness? And really listen to that small voice, that little voice about, about truth. And how am I contributing to my own misery? Pain, suffering, those things are freaking real. But the misery we create, that we keep placing ourselves in, how am I contributing to my own misery? What do I keep repeating? What is always on a repeat? What do I keep allowing? What do I keep getting myself tangled in? What is that thought, that continual thought? And finding my truth. So, what is my real truth? What is that real truth? And all of this is happening in this energy. And I feel like we have another, we have to go at least through till sometime in May before we see a big, major, major shift. But because the energy is intense, it also comes with a really good opportunity for intense growth, intense development of new ideas, new thoughts, new projects, moving forward. So there's a lot of being able to move forward in this. So your degrees, oh, sorry, Arlene, degrees would be on your natal chart. So if you go into one of the sites where you can download your actual natal chart, it'll give you the placements, and it'll also give you the degree of where that planet was at the time of your birth. And so it shows you where all of those literally are. So like in my sun sign. So in my sun sign, I'm an Aries, and my Aries, when I was born, my Aries is 11.11 degrees. That's my Aries, right? And so the more that you see that energy, right? And so you connect. And so you it's such a fascinating journey to map that together. And then of course blend that in with your gene keys, blend that in with your human design chart. You start to find out things about yourself, and you start to also recognize the shadow. And of course, more than existing, everything that I've done in my healing journey is everything that I have placed into all that I've created in more than existing. Um, from the beginning book to the books that are the two books that are out, and now the third book is coming. So Wine and Chips is coming soon. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to bring Wine and Chips out. She was written. Wine and Chips was written a few years ago, and it was about the evolution, right? It was about that self of being how much we live in a disassociated state, away from ourselves, separated from ourselves, not really connected to ourselves. We believe all that we think we are. What we think we are is sometimes nowhere near who and what we truly are. And so because we become a creation of thoughts, right? We become that creation of thoughts. And so we become, we got to become the strong one. You got to become the independent one. You got to become you got to become the grown up. You might have been 5 and you were told, oh, you have to be the responsible one. You have to be the grown up. And so a 5-year-old's brain can't comprehend what it is to be an adult, only what they can perceive to be. What time I was born. Yes, and so if you don't know what time you're born, you can't the natal chart will not give you your rising, but you can get everything else. So if you can't get your rising, then I don't think you can't get your, like, south node. Uh, maybe not your north node either. I'm not sure, but I know you can't get your rising. But if you don't have your birth time, you just use, I think it's 12 p.m. You use 12 p.m. It's kind of that neutral zone. It just doesn't give you a rising, but you will get everything else. So yeah, that's a little bit of a but so yeah, so we have, so all of those parts of ourselves, you're the strong one. You're the strong one. How many times have you heard that? So these are the things that sometimes are coming up in this energy for us to really truly find our truth. So what I say about this energy, it's like being in the birth canal. It's like being in the birth canal and you're almost out and you're almost through. That's what it's like. It's like pushing us out. So it is a rebirth energy. Transformation always gives us a chance for endings and but also the opportunity for new beginnings. So it is like ground zero. It is like being in the black hole energy of transformation is once you go in through a change, once something drastic happens in our lives, we think we can get back to who we were, but we're never coming out. You're never coming out the same person. And that's half the issue. That's half our problem sometimes is we're always trying to get back to who we once were. We reflect back, we look at pictures, we keep thinking back, oh, this is who I was, oh, in my heyday, or when I did this and when I did that. There's no going back. There's what comes out through the darkness, through the journey is what comes out on the other side. What's coming out on the other side? And who's coming out on the other side. And so it's that excitement of getting to know this self and what I like, what I don't like. And so we are in a rebirth birth journey. And in a rebirth journey is that we have the beginning, the middle, the end. We have all of these things all happening at once. And all of these things are all existing. Everything is always existing all at once, right? We have everything always there. And so we always get kind of lost in trying to hold on to one thought, one belief, one perception, one view. And there's multi, just like there's not just one truth, right? There's the opportunity for there to be several truths. If you're in a family and in the family you're raised in, every single child will have a different way that they would have perceived their childhood because each one would have been parented different, each one receives the information different. And whether you are someone who's very gentle or you're someone who's like a duck and you everything just rolls off your back, or you're the child who absorbs it all. So we all have these different ways that we receive it. So in a house, every child would have a different perspective, a different view, a different truth of what their childhood was like. Put the family together and see how much they fight over how it was. And sometimes it's survival. And we have been in survival mode for a long time. Is that we just block out the hurts, the pains, the hard stuff, and we only see the good stuff until we realize, as I said earlier, that the things that hurt you are revealing themselves. And they're sometimes revealing themselves in how you treat yourself. They reveal themselves in how you treat yourself, how you speak to yourself, um, how you give yourself credit, how you give yourself attention, whatever that may be, how you walk around wanting the world to validate for you, whatever that may be, it does reveal itself. Whereas, you know, the more that we can just kind of agree to disagree and just say recognize everyone has their different perspectives, their different views, receiving it differently, is that we can sit and listen to each experience. So if the family could just sit down and just listen to, well, this is how I felt, this is how, I seen it, but I seen it through the eyes of a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. Looking back, I can see it differently. And so it's up to the adult that we are in our today to take that responsibility, say, I can look back now, I can see things differently, but I also know my truth that it hurt me, or that I felt this way, or that it was a painful journey, that it wasn't easy, that it felt painful, that I felt the pain. And by acknowledging that, is that you're saying to the little you, I see you and you're not forgotten. I see you. I hear you. I hear what you've been saying to me. I forgive you for thinking you had to be this way, or that you had to carry this, or whatever it is. And so it's not that other people have to understand you or accept you, is that you have to understand you. You have to step into that of understanding you. And that's why learning more about yourself, learning more about the makeup of yourself, learning more about the thought process, learning more really truly helps you to be able to accept that there is parts of us that are innate. There's parts of us that are not really ever us. And there's parts of us that just make us want to be more curious to discover more. Because often the most beautiful parts of ourselves is the parts that we hid away because they either got mimicked, mocked, laughed at, joked at, harassed. And so teasing was called teasing, but to a little child, to a younger version of yourself, it was probably called harassment. And, or if you look at it from the adult self, it would be more of harassment, and it felt harassment, and it felt like you were being harassed, you're being picked on. And so looking at it like that, now look at your adulthood of where there is moments and times of when you're being harassed, when you just kind of try to ignore it. So just say there's things to deal with, but you don't want to deal with them because you feel like you're being harassed. You may not you may not you're probably not being harassed, but it feels the same way because it activates the shame. It activates the guilt. So when we activate the shame, the second response is to respond from the shame. So then we have those shame responses, right? And it all plays out. I just told my hubby that today. I'm wanting someone to see me. Wow, that's insane that you just said that. Yeah, MJ. So yes, that's exactly, and that's in our energy right now, and it's so in our energy. And speaking of that, if you're in the Lacombe area in June, we're having a little mini retreat. It's a 2-day retreat. It's 4 hours a day, and it's in Lacombe, and it's a women's retreat where we are going to be doing some inner child work, shadow work, envisioning, some intuitive stuff. And it's going to be myself and Lisa Richard of Loving Energy Recharge. The two of us are the two faces of the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness that we have. And so we're going to be bringing what we have online. We're going to be bringing some of that to you in person. Lisa's going to be here visiting from BC. So we're going to be offering a 2-day workshop here in Lacombe. So we just posted it on Eventbrite. I have not shared it over to Facebook anywhere. It just got released a few minutes ago. So that's also coming up if you're in the area and you want to come work with us for 2 days. We're at the Travelodge here in Lacombe. That's where we're doing it. So yeah, those tickets are also going to be now available. So let me see. I'm going to shift cards for this. So moving forward, see, I feel like I really need to share this in a live today, even though it's in my video. So if you don't watch the energy updates in YouTube, yes, check it out, MJ. So if you don't watch my YouTube videos because you go in and you start them and you're like, well, that doesn't feel like it resonates, keep watching them because it changes. It is like the beginning of it, and then there's a middle, and then the end, and it kind of works in momentum. It builds momentum as it goes. And so there may not be something in the beginning, but there may be something in another part that resonates with you. Oh, I'd love to see you come, Gail. Yes. And you're close enough. Yeah, I would love to see as many women as I think I think it's listed at 20 women is what we could take, or 22 women is what we can take for then. So, but like I said, we just released it. And if you're in the Lloydminster area, myself and Michelle Gibson of Angelic Realm Healing, we are doing a group reading, mediumship reading in Lloydminster, and that's coming up May the 4th. So that's it's on the Saskatchewan side. We just had a hard time getting a location that worked on the Alberta side. So I mean, Lloydminster is just got the border down between. So, but yeah, we're going to be there. So let's go so back to that YouTube video for a second. But yeah, go in, check out those YouTube videos. The energy update for the week is up. The full moon energy update is available. There is a video that I just released last week, and I speak a little bit about some of my mediumship work and some of my previous sessions, which I'm allowed to that I was given permission to speak about. But both that I spoke about are no longer here on Earth. They're no longer with us. They are in spirit. And so, yeah. So the card that I pulled from Palladian Wisdom, which is this deck, The other cards were from my deck. The other cards were from the Everyday Goddess, but this card is from the Palladium Wisdom. And so this one speaks about relationships. And so to have healthy relationships with people begins with the healthy relationship with ourselves and having that sense of unconditional love. And it's very hard to have unconditional love because we have a lot of conditions, we have a lot of expectations, and we have a lot of boundaries. And sometimes we need those boundaries. Sometimes we need to be able to stand up for ourselves. Is that we are human and that we can't always be, we can't allow ourselves to either also be doormats to other people's shitty behavior. If we're holding ourselves accountable and responsible, we also, once we learn a strong relationship with ourselves, we also learn to hold other people accountable and responsible. When somebody goes to reflect something on you and says, well, you make me do this or you make me feel this way, I wouldn't do this if you didn't do that. And I'm like, no, that's not true. You do that because that's your choice. Because nobody activates your emotion. Nobody makes your choices for you. You make your choices. That's your choice. That is free will. And we all have free will. And we're born with that free will. So we have the free will. But what's influencing that choice that we're making? What fear story, what doubt story, what story are we telling ourselves in our head? So it's so easy to lay it on to somebody else that it's their responsibility to see us, to be our everything, but it's up to us to build that healthy relationship, to be the everything that we need in our now so that we can create that future moving forward. And so this card is balance your relationships by approaching them with true love, which is accepting and unconditional. So accepting, by accepting that somebody is where they are instead of constantly trying to force them to change, that's unconditional love. But it doesn't mean that they are where they are, so you have to become a punching bag, emotional punching bag or a doormat to it. It means I accept that that's where you are and you have to walk your journey, but I also have to accept in myself that I can't let myself become a part of that because I'm not walking that way. No one walks. You have to walk your own journey. You have to walk your own path, and nobody walks in your shoes. You have to walk in your shoes. And if they're too tight, if they hurt, if there's a pebble in them, it's going to cause a blister. So you have to stop and take out those pebbles. You have to be comfortable in. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, right? You have to be okay with sometimes having to make the right choice that you by trusting the free will and not responding by the shame, the guilt stories that you tell yourself to get you to turn around and to go backwards, right? It's not about going backwards, it's about going forward. And it all begins with that relationship that we have with ourselves and creating that healthy environment that we want to exist in here, in here, because we're going to be always feeling this energy outside. But what do I want in here? So really observing that self, observing the patterns, the behaviors, the words, the continual repeat language that we have, and just sometimes saying to herself, am I done with that now? Am I over that now? um, why am I still having a tantrum? I'm not 5, I'm not 20. I'm like, well, for me, I'm like 53 years old. So, can't be having that tantrum now. It's time to grow that thought up. It's time to grow that thought up. It's time to grow that emotion up. And so that is where emotional intelligence, emotional growth, I call it growing up. It's time to grow up. It's time to grow up emotionally. What that means is we remove those blocks and those obstacles that stand in our way, that keep us regurgitating all of that old energy instead of releasing it and let it flow, let it be clear. It is just like when you watch the video of the glass of water and the dirt is in the water, and then you start stirring it up by trying to take out the dirt, by trying to spoon it out. Whereas if you just keep pouring water in, eventually the water will become clear. You just got to keep pouring in love and light. Just keep pouring in love and light. And you just keep pouring in love and light. Eventually you will get clear. You'll get clear in your thoughts. You'll get clear in your heart. You get clear in your mind. and it begins to bring a change. And you also then also accept that we are human. We are not here to be perfect. We're here to be imperfect. We're not going to get it all right, but we start to recognize the areas of where, that pain is caused, that misery that I'm living in is not serving any of my higher good, and I'm not getting any closer to joy and happiness by continually existing in any misery, anyone else's or my own. But I'm also not going to turn a blind eye to the fact that stuff is happening. It is real. There is real stuff that is happening. It is real. I don't need to avoid. I can be safe within myself to also recognize that I don't have to be overreactive and over responsive to a point of where it takes me away from my center. And this is about balance and center and getting balanced and getting centered within ourselves. That's what it's trying to help us do. And then we can just be a pendulum. We can really truly check in with ourselves, ask ourselves the parenting thought, and then get back to center. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for staying. I just wanted to explain this a little bit more and to share those cards and to share a little bit about this energy that we have happening. Thank you all for being here. Um, Sorry, I'm not able to get to all the messages. Um, glad this helped you today. A Taurus, yes. So Crystal Roberts is Taurus, yeah, and we are in Taurus. So we are in Taurus season. Yes, that's the other thing. We're in Taurus season. And my youngest granddaughter's a little Taurus, and it's a little bull energy, and it's a little stubborn. So there's a little bit of stubbornness, a little bit of resistance in here, with this energy as well. And so the full moon was actually Scorpio, so it's water, but it's Scorpio full moon, so it can be a little bit spicy. It can have a little bit of a spice or a little bit of a coldness to it. It can feel a little bit chilly. But it's a beautiful energy and beautiful opportunity because Taurus is a very kind-hearted kind of energy. It's all about doing the right things for the right reasons and taking a stand and standing up. So, your truer self is trying to take a stand. Your soul is trying to take a stand for you now and just saying, I'm done with this shadow. I'm done with this. I'm done with this behavior. I'm done with this. It's time. The soul self really wants to start coming to the light. Time to bring that to the light. Thank you all, you are so, so welcome. Thank you for being here. I send you, Sarah. Aries is awesome. It's also my birthday, so definitely lots of energies. Yes, Aries is awesome. I'm one too. I send you so much love. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and go check out the YouTube videos and go check out the Eventbrite's 2 posts that are up. If you're in Lloydminster area, you can see myself and Michelle on May the 4th for a group reading where we'll be connecting to loved ones. And then Lisa and I will be doing a 2-day, 4-hour each day in June the 22nd and 23rd, at the Travelodge here in Lacombe. So we have that also coming up. And then also May the 25th, there is a group reading also here in that, but that one's not posted. There will be a group reading here in Lacombe as well. So we have 2 group readings coming up, and we have a weekend mini retreat happening. I send you much love. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.